Alright, this is John Colo with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and we're coming at you from my backyard garden. Nice sunny day, nice and hot actually. And what we're doing in this episode is I'm explaining an alternative to tilling your soil. You know, I hear people renting rototillers and using tillers and, you know, all this kind of stuff, and it makes me cringe, man. I would not want to be underneath a rototiller and get rototilled up, man. That's a horrible way to go. And you know, so I'm a big fan of no-till gardening. So what is no-till gardening? Does that mean you never stick a shovel or a fork or anything in the garden? Well, you know, I try to disturb my soil the least. I mean, that's the big thing about no-till gardening. It doesn't mean you're never going to till, but you're going to till as minimal as you possibly need to, just to do the work you need to without disturbing the soil. You know, what's the big problem with disturbing the soil, John, you might be thinking? Well, you know, there's complex life in the soil. There's bacteria, fungi, you know, different arthropods, and, you know, earthworms, all kinds of things living in the soil. And when you till it up, man, you're disturbing their life. I mean, the analogy I like to give actually is, say you had robbers break into your house, right? And they break in your house and they're in your bedroom and they're trying to rip up your mattress, go through all your drawers, find that money hidden in that sock, right? And then you get home and your house is ransacked. How do you feel about when your house is ransacked, man? I mean, your place is all discombobulated, everything's out of place, right? And then it takes you some time to get back, to move everything back and put it back in order so you could continue and live in your life. The same thing happens with the soil microbes in there. I mean, if you rototill, man, you're discombobulating them, you're killing a bunch of them, and they're gonna be frazzled, man, and then they have to rebuild their colonies and establish, and you're probably ripping up earthworms, and you're disturbing all this. And in my version of organic gardening, which is actually called biologic organic gardening, which is different than just organic gardening, you know, we really want to cultivate the microbes and the life in the soil. That's the most important thing by far, right? So what happened to me is this. I built these raised beds. Be sure to check my other videos for, you know, videos on that if I posted them yet. I don't know how this is going to go with the ordering of all these videos I've been making lately. But what happened here is I built these raised beds. They're 2 blocks high. Each block is 8 inches, so it's 16 inches total. I got about 1 cubic yard of organic compost from a local company, A1 Organics, that I actually do not recommend at this point. They actually made me take the video down because I didn't have approval or something from the president, CEO of the company. And I have challenges with people that want to limit the information, man. And I think, you know, that's not too cool. So anyways, and the compost stank. Anyways, and I provided a realistic video of the whole process. I mean, I just tell it like it is. I tell it how I see it, you know, kind of keep it real, and evidently they didn't like the realness of it. I mean, the only things I could think of is that I mentioned that the compost stank, number 1. I mentioned number 2, that the compost may be cut with sand. And I don't know if that's true or not because I don't know what they're doing, but it sure looked like it for me because it was pretty sandy, and I've checked out a lot of compost in my day and age. In any case, I had this stuff stored in garbage cans, a whole yard's worth, and I dumped it in these raised beds you see behind me here. And that makes up like the first like couple inches, right? Because that stuff stank so much, right? I had to bury it over and put stuff on top of it so I wouldn't get the fumes. I wouldn't have to smell that stanky compost, right? Compost should have a neutral smell when you buy it. Like, I probably shouldn't have bought that compost, but I was so excited about a place making a predominantly plant-based compost here in Las Vegas. You know, I looked aside and figured, oh, I'm going to try this stuff. So anyways, I buried that stuff underneath, and on top what you're seeing here is some gardening soil blend that my friend gave me when she moved out of her place, actually. So that's been sitting actually in piles in my yard, unused, for about a year. I haven't been tending to them. Nothing was planted in them. They weren't getting any water. So then basically the soil dries out. It becomes like a sand, man. You know, it doesn't look super lifeful. It's kind of gray, not that dark, rich, black, you know, loam that we're looking for, like in the middle of a forest and whatnot. And that's the situation here. So what I want to do is I want to help, you know, ignite the fire. You know, just because you have wood doesn't mean you're going to have a fire unless you got that first spark and it ignites. So in the same way, I want to ignite this soil full of the microbiology because, you know, just my gardening intuition is sensing that this is not super healthy soil in the sense of the biology in there. I don't think there's a whole bunch. So what we're gonna do today is actually we're gonna inoculate the soil with this stuff here. It's called the Penetrate Liquid Biotiller, and it penetrates the soil. This is made not only for sandy soils, not only for soils that may not have the bacteria, but it's also made for clay soils. If you got a clay soil that you can't grow nothing, you know, the goal and to make clay soil better is not to add sand, because it's still harden up, right? What we need to do is we need to get the biologics in there, the bacteria in there, the aerobic bacteria that's basically going to break down the organic matter in there, create airspace, and allow you to basically till the garden using bacteria, which are literally hundreds of thousands of workers in what's in this package here, that's going to do the work for you, so you don't have to manually do it, right? Isn't it much smarter to get nature working on your side than having to rent a rototiller and burn gas and, you know, work behind it? And yes, this is not going to work overnight. If you have clay soil, you put this stuff in, you're not going to come back in a day and say, oh yeah, it's tilled. No, I mean, nature doesn't work that way. Things take time to happen properly. You're going to have to make probably multiple applications. With each application, your soil is going to loosen up and loosen up. One day, hopefully with also doing other, you know, good practices like adding rich organic matter and trace minerals and growing some plant material and having you know, fungus in there and other things, your soil is going to be, you know, auto-correcting. I mean, in nature's system, there is no waste, and in nature's system, everything happens for a reason, right? And only when man gets involved, when we try to do things to our system, things don't work. In my opinion, rototilling is in our system, but it's not in nature's system. There's no such thing as rototillers in nature. So next, let's go ahead and talk about how this Penetrate works here. We're gonna go ahead and open this guy up. And inside this is actually just literally two bottles, bottle number A and bottle number B, and a box that you can compost. So in bottle number A, the bottle number A is basically the food bottle. So these come separate. You should not mix these together until you're ready to use them. This is for a very important reason. This is the food bottle. The food bottle contains things like the kelp and the saponins that's actually going to feed the bacteria once you mix them together, and it's going to enliven them. The bacteria in bottle number B, these are the beneficial microbes, including Bacillus subtilis, Bacillus pumilus, Bacillus licheniformis. And I don't know what those guys do, but every different bacteria in this product has a specific task. You know, they break down organic matter. And the other thing to remember is that the bacteria is the base of the food soil web. So what is a food soil web? Well, I have a little, actually nice little infographic here from John and Bob's. And this is what the food soil web is, to break it down. You have different things in your soil, such as the bacteria. That bacteria, they fight pests and disease, and you can see a little, I don't know, bacteria man here. He's looking like Batman. But they fight pests and disease, and they're the base of the whole food soil web. They're what provides food for all the other things in the food soil web. After the bacteria, you got the fungi, and then after the fungi, you got the protozoa. The protozoa, you got the nematodes, and you got the arthropods, and you got the earthworms, right? All these creatures in the soil have a big part to play, and they need to be in balance in your soil to have optimal growing success and have a healthy and vibrant garden. You know, these are the creatures in your soil that basically make compost, the nutrients in the compost, available for the plants. That's why it's so important to me to literally inoculate my soil with this bacteria so that they can get to work. They can start tilling my soil, you know, creating a live soil that's going to help actually break down the soil that I'm going to pile on the top 8 inches of this stuff here. So that's why I'm using the Penetrate Liquid Biotiller. Even though I don't need to till it, it's going to help provide aeration and inoculate it with the beneficial microbes that, in my opinion, are so important. Now, another thing that's really cool about the Penetrate liquid here is that these are the same very microbes that are sold in some organic fungicides. So this product is only sold for use in the soil, right? But if you wanted to, like I will, you can actually also mix these guys up and then spray it on your leaves, because you know the one of the bottles actually has a good portion of kelp, so you can foil or feed it to your plants that way. Plus also provide that beneficial microbes on your plants to help potentially knock out any, you know, diseases as well. So I mean, these are the kind of products we could use, that we could spray on plants. You know, they're non-toxic, and they're good for us and the soil, and especially if you have any pets, they're safe for use around pets as well. So what we're gonna do next, actually just apply this stuff. This is the 32-ounce pack for home gardeners. You're definitely not gonna need these big guys here. They have a smaller 8-ounce set that you'll just combine both of them and mix in basically a gallon of water or more water. Doesn't matter how much water you need to use to distribute them all, and then distribute this and just spray it throughout your garden. So you could do this in a hose end sprayer like I'm gonna do here. I got a Hudson hose end sprayer. You could do this in a pump sprayer, and if you're not even that high tech, you could actually just put it in a watering can and water it. You know, the hose end sprayer, you know, or a pump sprayer probably more effective than just a watering can, because you'll be able to, you know, get these guys and spread it all over your garden. And just one small packet of the penetrate will cover 1,000 square feet, and these large bottles covers 4,000 square feet, and I don't even have that here. Now the cool thing to remember is that the recommended amounts on the package is the minimum amounts, right, to get results. I always like to maybe overdo things when, you know, the products I use won't burn. This will not burn your soil or anything like that. So if you have a dilution ratio a little bit too much of this stuff on your garden, that's totally fine. The only negative is it might just cost you a little bit extra money because you're using too much product. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and take this guy, maybe shake these guys up a little bit, and I'm gonna estimate about how much is 8 ounces here. So that looks like that's the bacteria. Whoa, and this one's alive. We're gonna go ahead and try to pour pretty much equal amounts of this stuff in my bottles. These are, it's marked on here for 8 ounces. And I think I'm like halfway up there or so. And if I look in my bottles here, it looks like I've used about even amounts. So I think I'm good with that. Once again, if you get the smaller size, just dump the whole bottle, you know, in. And all we're gonna do now is a screw on the top. These hose end sprayers are really simple and easy to use. You can select the different patterns. I'm not gonna use like the rain pattern. The next thing we're gonna need to do is take the hose, and I am using filtered water, a Boogie Blue water filter on it. You know, if you are using conventional city tap water, it does contain chlorine, which is for your health and sanitation, so that you don't get E. coli or Cryptosporidium Girardia outbreak or whatever like that. But it's bad for your soil and bad for the bacteria. So I recommend you do get, you know, for your garden, a Boogie Blue or other suitable garden filter to remove the chlorine, because the chlorine is there to kill the bacteria, and I'm here to make the bacteria flourish, so I do not want the chlorine. So we just unscrewed my little hose thing. We're gonna go ahead and put this guy in here and screw it on. All right, so once you got your sprayer all set up, you're ready to spray. You just need to set the dilution ratio. Unfortunately, the dilution ratio on the package is in ounces per gallon, and on the Hudson sprayer, it's actually in teaspoons or tablespoons per gallon. So I'm gonna set it actually to 1 tablespoon per gallon. Keep in mind that this amount of product will treat 1,000 square feet. So if you get over your whole garden, basically go over your whole garden, then actually if you still have product left, start over again and keep spraying the product down. It doesn't matter if there's actually more water than the product, but what does matter is that you get the product down there, even if it is more diluted. You need to get the quantity of microorganisms in your soil, you know, to be at a certain level to get the results, and that's the results on the package. Unfortunately, this Hudson sprayer is not set up to go that high. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set it to 1 tablespoon per gallon, turn this guy on, and water my garden until we run out of product. So never before has it been this easy to till your garden without even renting a rototiller by just spraying on the beneficial microbes that are going to do the work for me. If you're interested in learning more about this product, be sure to click the link below this video that'll take you to John and Bob's website. And if you order the product, be sure to use a special discount code that I'll actually put below the video so you get a special low discounted price on this product. I have been using the John and Bob's products for several years now. I believe in them confidently. I mean, they model my style of gardening, which is, fostering the beneficial microbes in the soil, which are really the workhorses, so you can have free labor working for you without paying anybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler. Got to get back to tilling my garden with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time, and remember, keep on growing. All right, this is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you here in Oakland, California at the convention center, and there's a compost convention going on. I'm so excited to be